Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm back to another video. Luckily for you guys, I will be sending out one more video. I may be able to squeeze one more out before I can reach the 5 o'clock mark. Even if I do, I will still post it, depending if I'm done with this video in time. I'm getting all done with editing. So, hopefully I can reach that 5 o'clock mark, PST, by the way, not EST or what have you, and get that done. So, another video will be coming out, so don't worry. Now, we have with this particular one, now this happened about yesterday, or, well, technically today, but I digress, mostly yesterday. And I would say that this is a pretty big news, considering it kind of just demonstrates on how crazy the far left is, and what could possibly happen. So, we're going to go directly into this article, because it's kind of time-consuming, and it will be just one massive article that we'll be going over, etc., so what have you. Bullet and death threats won't knock the Green Bear off his mission. Defiant UP candidate vows to fight alone after his kids were nearly killed by gunmen who shot at his house after Dem rival posted campaign and outside the North Carolina property. A Republican candidate whose parents' home was shot up while his kids slept inside on the day his Democratic rival released a campaign ad showing his lake house vowed to fight political violence. Former Green Bear Pat Harrigan, 35, who's running for an open seat in the state's left-leaning 14th Congressional District, has vowed to fight rampant crime, including political violence, after his parents' home was shot up and he received death threats. The shooting transpired on October 18th and saw a single shot fired into a home belonging to his parents, which is near the lake home featured in his opponent's ad. The bullet entered the home in the room below where his children, ages 3 and 5, were sleeping. A bullet and death threats aren't enough to knock this Green Bear off of that mission, Harrigan, who owns an AR-15 business called Unbranded AR, wrote on Twitter on Thursday. His business is a firearm parts supply company where customers can buy complete firearms, parts, mounting solutions, optics, and ammunition according to the Green Bear pack. His opponent, Jeff Jackson, has accused him of making money off the devastating school shooting at Sandy Hook in 2012 through his and his wife's business. Jackson pointed to a 2018 interview Harrigan did with an AR-15 podcast on Firearms Radio Network, where the candidate reportedly said at the time AR-15s were kind of in their heyday. Sandy Hook had happened, and there was a shortage of AR-15s. Harrigan has dismissed the allegation, saying that it is an unfortunate fact that after a firearm-related tragedy, gun sales go up due in large part to the reckless political dialogue that ensues shortly thereafter, which makes law-abiding citizens concerned that the rights to own firearms will be threatened. However, since the shooting at this parent's home, which saw the wannabe politician quickly moving his children out of state as a safety precaution, Harrigan has also reportedly begun wearing a bulletproof vest to his events. Since the shooting, Jackson has issued a statement on Twitter, writing, "It appears that someone who has yet to be identified fired a shot into the home of my opponent's parents. It was absolutely an act of violence, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but whoever did this should be held accountable." I don't know whether this person's true or not, but I would agree. There's no reason for political violence whatsoever. And this is what happens when you have the far violent political left doing this type of stuff. This is the reason why they want to say, "Oh, we're the caring ones. Oh, we care about people. We are so progressive." Yet they're the ones that are absolutely destroying people's lives, trying to go after other people's lives, kill people, do racism, and actually do divisiveness. This is the far left's ideology. This is what they actually do, and we've been seeing more evidence of this happening. And you know what happens? There are Democrats, maybe not the Jackson guy, but a lot of Democrats that justify this type of BS. Remember when Judge Kavanaugh was getting attacked, or not getting attacked, but was going to be attacked by some lunatic? Yeah, maybe we should probably think that maybe laws should be put in place. Democrats should be held accountable for pushing this type of dangerous ideology and what have you, because these people are insane and they don't care about you, your family, or anybody else as long as it pushes their ideology and they win in the long term. That's all they freaking care about. My opponent has since made a statement in which he calls this political violence, while there's no evidence for that. I share his concern that political rhetoric is often far too hot. I will hear reconsider his ad claiming I support domestic terrorism, which runs daily. The Daily Mail has attempted to blah 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 blah. Nice kids, beautiful family, obviously. Man, that was that's obviously, it seems like he's been on patrol before. This is the bullet. that injured. The violent incident was not reported until Thursday, after it was revealed the FBI had launched an investigation into the shooting. After the bullet was found just feet away from where the candidate's daughters, aged 3 and 5, have been sleeping, the last thing I would be trusting is the FBI at this point. But I digress. As the incident was made public, the family revealed that the two girls had been living with their grandparents for much of the campaign cycle due to the slew of death threats, which they said put tremendous stress on Harrigan and his loved ones. The kids have since been relocated out of state, according to the grandmother, while Harrigan, who was not at the residence at the time of the shooting, has since come forward to confirm that owns a lakeside property near the residence in the town of Hickory. But one thing I will blame Jeff Jackson for is, if that was the case, why did you put his home there? Like, we shouldn't be putting politicians' homes anywhere near videos or what have you when we're doing campaigns. Absolutely fucking not. And this is the reason why I kind of criticized Jeff Jackson, where he says that he didn't want this to happen, but he put the home of his opponent into his video. And I don't know about you, but that's extremely suspicious onto why he would do that. So you're not going to get safe for me, Jeff Jackson. You may have said it, but still, at the end of the day, when you put your opponent's video of his home where he's at, yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. Shockingly, that same property was featured in the campaign that I recently aired by Harrigan's primary opponent, Democrat Jeff Jackson, escaping the spot that showed the house and all of its surroundings. The commercial first aired on October 18th, the day of the shooting, and has since been pulled from syndication. An investigation has been underway since, but cops and federal agents have yet to make an arrest. And, by the way, I am not saying that he orchestrated this to happen. However, I did say that it's very questionable and horribly bad to have a person's house in your video in a public dispute, especially the political climate that we're in. Even if I was in a Democratic state, or not a Democratic state, but in a Democratic, I was gonna be, making an campaign on a Democratic person, the last thing I would do would be post their address of the home address to the people that they're at, because that is terrible in the political climate that we're in. It's just not smart. I wouldn't do it. So why, Jackson, would you do this, knowing the political climate, knowing that this is the issue? It's just a bit nerve-wracking or untrustworthy that you think that this would not happen. The shooting comes amid heightened concerns for the security of politicians ahead of next week's midterms, following Friday's attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's 82-year-old husband at their San Francisco home. Harrigan's mother, Mary Harrigan Sutherford, told the Associated Press on Thursday that she had and her husband, James Harrigan, were sitting down in their living room when the bullet entered the residence, shattered the laundry room window in the process. The grandmother said the children were asleep in the bedroom directly above the room where the shooting occurred, but remained asleep despite the commotion. The couple then quickly called local police, who descended on the residence in full, confirming in a report that the incident did involve a firearm before calling the FBI. According to Marla, the kids have since been relocated out of state out of abundance of caution after the shootings, she said, with her Army veteran son now urging them to leave town as well. Yeah, that's probably the correct solution, considering there's an absolute bloody lunatic on the loose. Harrigan is running against Jackson, a former fellow soldier who served in the Army Reserve, for an open seat in the state's new 14th congressional district, which is notoriously left-leaning. As a result, Harrigan, a political newcomer who was deployed to Afghanistan at 23 years old in 2010, has reportedly received a slew of threats during his campaign, which seemingly culminated with last month's shooting. He goes on to say on Twitter, yesterday I learned about an event that happened 3 weeks ago. It appears that someone who has yet to be identified fired a shot into the home of my opponent's parents. It was absolutely an act of violence, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms. At this point, we don't know who did this or why. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but whoever did this should be held accountable. I saw initial press reports, which has been since corrected, to claim that this house appeared in one of our ads. That is false. There was also claims that I have an ad where I stand in front of my opponent's house. Also false. A British tabloid got the story wrong. However, there were several local media outlets that accurately reported the story. One of them was the Charlotte Observer, whose story is here. My opponent has since made a statement which he calls this political violence, while there's no evidence for that. I share his concern that the political rhetoric is often far too hot. However, I consider this ad claiming I support domestic terrorism, which runs daily. I don't know whether you support domestic terrorism or not. However, I do know that would be considered political violence, considering if the mere fact that the video shows that that you are at his house, or that the video is showing where his house is at, would be labeled to political violence. That's the only way you could pretty much put it. So I don't know about that one, Jackson, because really, at the end of the day, it would be considered political violence. That's just straight up. It would be considered political violence. Now, that being said, doesn't mean that you actively wanted this to happen, but it does mean that somebody that is a part of your group, part of your ideology, part of your political side, did attack this for political reasons, and that's just straight up truth. Mauro Harrigan said the entire situation has put tremendous pressure on the Army vet whose life has been uprooted now that his family has been split up and his girls whisked off. It's just as concerning, especially with the children there, said Mauro, before detailing the tension that has been thrust on the now fractured family. This campaign is so stressful and we feel so badly for our son because he's terribly stressed about his children. And now they're gone, they're not with their parents, and it's just very, very destructive. The FBI are currently overseeing the investigation and are being aided in their efforts by both state and local police. Authorities said the bullet came from a densely wooded area behind the house. Former Special Ops Forces soldier Harrigan previously criticized his opponent for airing the location of his domestic house, despite knowing about him receiving death threats, and has since come forward to assert he would not be intimidated, and that death threats are enough to knock his Green Bear off that mission. His opponent, meanwhile, was forced to pull the ad filmed directly outside of the lakeside home, which criticized Harrigan's gun manufacturing business as well as his ownership of a home set outside confines of the Jeff 14th District. Jackson's ads show a man on a jet ski. As the narrator tells listeners, Harrigan made a fortune off tragedies such as the Sandy Hook shooting and bought a lake house. It then shows an image of the home, which is not far from that of his parents. It was released on the day of the shooting and spread an angry open letter from Harrigan to Jackson just a week later. The ad shows a man on a jet ski is meant to represent Harrigan engaging in a joyride in the bay at the backside of Jackson's sprawling estate. Narrators goes on to assert that the former soldier used supposed blood money to buy the scenic lake house. It goes on to show an image of the home, something Harrigan we slam as going too far in an open letter, saying the effort put him and his family at risk. I would agree with that. So Jackson, meanwhile, has yet to comment on the prospect that this ad could have helped a potential attacker locate his political rival's home. Those concerns were aired in an impassioned letter addressed to his opponent on October 25th, a week after the incident, in which the father of two wrote that targeting family domiciles crosses the line but did not reveal that his parents and children had potentially been targeted. As I travel wherever my family is located, they are significantly less safe with me in this race, Harrigan wrote. Not revealing that the shooting had transpired, but saying he had received credible death threats. And they are even less safe now that they've shown one of my homes to the world. Harrigan went on to slam the ad as unfun, a hit piece, but still not divulge what his family they had already been subjected to. This ad went too far because targeting family domiciles crosses the line, he wrote. Family is stretched thin on campaigns, and you violated my family's security. I've already received a credible death threat. I wear a low-profile bulletproof vest to every single major public event. He said, it just doesn't seem like the honest and decent thing to do. Quite frankly, it would be so dishonest and indecent that the thought has never crossed my mind. I'm sorry that it crossed yours. So, that being said, it's a pretty clear, distinct here of what's been going on. So it's kind of like a little bit of a rehash of what's been going on, so I won't go too far. I will post this, obviously, in the channel. Now, what we're going to try to do, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably try to do this live. I'll only spend like 3 minutes doing this, and then if I do find it, I will post probably a, I guess you could say a shorts of him doing this. If I do find it out, but I don't want to spend too much time because I don't want to waste your guys' time as well. I know your guys' time is precious, so that being said, it's really more important for you guys to kind of not waste your time. So Jackson video. So what we're going to do here is try to find exactly what's going on. Jackson video Harrigan. So we're going to just try to find exactly what, find the actual ad. Okay, well, no. Let me try to just do ad video. Let's try to do that. This is from 2021. So I don't know whether this is true or not. So we're going to try to go for this one right here. Okay, yeah, so that's not the case. So that isn't the video. It looks like it has been scrubbed. So I don't know whether or not we can say, I don't know whether we can say this is true or not, whether this did happen, from this side of things, because I'm not seeing anything exactly, that's showing this. I'm not even seeing anything that is showing exactly, anything portraying to, I would say anything that's pertaining to what's been going on here, exactly what's the video. It does say it looks like it's been scrubbed or removed, but I don't like taking people's word for it, so I will click on this and see what happens. So,
we're on your side, but you were in the neighborhood early. Thank you. So we into the police report.
So we're going to try to find this. So, guys, I can't find it. But if you guys can, you guys can send me a DM through Twitter or my locals channel, or you can send it through my email, which is jmreports0@gmail.com, and you guys can send it me through there, and I will do a short on the actual ad in itself, or I may do a slightly longer form video, which would be showing the true ad if it's longer than, like, obviously a minute. So, yeah, I can't seem to find it. So I would have to say, until I do, I will have to say that this is mostly hearsay until I can find it otherwise. I don't want to just automatically believe somebody just because they said something and I can't find the actual evidence of it. So that's pretty much it. Alright, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.